Morning. Totally running behind this morning, but oh, summer, man, it messes with me. Kids not on their regular school schedule. It's hard to keep stuff. But we are here, and everything is plugged in. I think I'm down without a problem. Yay! All right. We are back on our White Rabbit friend. Seriously, come down here without a paint palette. Of course I did. Well, so much easier. Cleaning out a palette from dried acrylics. Night and day. Alright, so brushes do we want? Detail brush. Really should likely in these container paintbrushes that I'm really reaching for. Let's put you over there. Alright. It's ever important. Little secret. Right. I think what I force myself to do get the white on there and then worry about hitting up the lines with the detail brush. Otherwise, we're locked into like the fiddly bits. Twice as long. Rest of it done. Ah! Flinging paintbrushes willy-nilly. That in place. There we go. Not thinking. You know what? I don't want to use the rabbit pattern again. Jackalope. That would be cute. My arm here. going to have fall session, call it. That's what it. Oh my god, hot. Fall session, in my opinion. Urban and not sweltering. Looking at my Ren Fair outfits and going, kind of want to do that. All the new patterns I have outlined. Personal. But while I have two mascots because Hope Wilder comes in her feet and look at her oh so soulfully. Sorry, gators. I'm gonna move back a bit. They're sitting here soulfully praying prayers. I will break down that they are the keys. Go downstairs, get them HWIE. Spell it. I say it, I will have two really in my lap. Quite learn Elliot. Although I swear there's times that Wilder can inside I like talking about. Hurting. Back and forth. Been working on this little guy and a giant fantasy fox pup. But that is large enough. And it's very well. Itself is massive. As it is, the hair is kind of stretching my mother back here. Of course, those commissioners. They're dangling in my eyes. Oh. Giving my paint time to kind of dry a little bit in between certainly stuff and smudging. Being a hacking mess. For some reason, other masks. Generally, by that. Pardon me one. Although. Well, been put on leather and clay and leather for masks. Says, hey, hello, hon. Using them as kind of parts of ceremonies or crops or ceremonies. Quite a while in our first brightly colored, often testicle. Most of the time, I don't know. I don't know if modernization feels loud. Why? I guess you could argue it's kind of like cosplay versus, you know. Got some people who look at anime and go, oh yeah, that's and then look at suits there and go, it's fun. Someone having an escapism moment. No, hard. There's a lot of crap going on. I'm gonna escape this video game character or movie character. Oh, bump the mic. Yeah, probably. Uh, I'm not 100% sure. It might be up all the way. I am pressing the wee little button and nothing's happening, and I'm not getting the beeps. Am I mumbling? I might be mumbling. Could also absolutely be our internet because, frankly, our internet is hot garbage right now. Is that any better? This is the downside of streaming. I can't hear myself. It's probably our internet then. We recently, quote unquote, upgraded on Frontier to what is supposed to be a faster service. The only thing that's happened is that connection absolutely blows. Right, Frontier, I'm calling you out. Service sucks. Which is crazy because there's areas of the world that some people consider, oh, this is a third world country, but they have more dependable, better running internet than us. And I am left kind of sitting there going, oh. Oh, hours maybe. On prime time hours now. Careful, those are so realistically speaking, my language, at least problematic stuff that kids are bound to see on the internet. It's funny, that's the rules for our team night. And one of the chaperones kind of asked, oh, okay. Like, oh yeah, absolutely. They can't say words that I will not repeat here that are slurs or misogynistic or, you know, phobic. Uh, saying oh fuck is their space to be themselves. And gotta test some channels. Scottish insults. Because honestly, if you call someone out, call them an asshole. But I don't know. I feel like the Scottish take in a whole new level. Just as an FYI, I'm getting my base colors down. It's dry, and then I will go in and do more shading. I want to get some darker pinks in by where the ears are. Like, right now I'm just putting the colors down like a reference image with flat colors, but shading and highlights and that was really clear. Which, me talking about Scottish swears? That'd be funny. It might be the noise suppression. I think the headset has something on it to try and filter out background noise. Oh, I wasn't even thinking. I have the AC going in here because otherwise I would roast. Um, so maybe it is trying to filter out air conditioning kind of background white noise. And in the course of that, it's just kind of what I'm saying. I do also need to project, like right now as I am talking, is this louder and clearer? Yeah, I need to make it a point to speak louder into my mic and not mumble. When I'm just kind of rambling on, I especially if I don't have feedback about my volume, this it feels like talking to myself. And it goes back to that whole streaming is difficult for me because I'm not usually good at just talking into the void, I guess. Um, but when someone is responding, even when that is a typed response, or like a conversation, and so it feels more natural to project and speak a little bit louder. Probably also need to mess with the settings at this point. There's a way to not get rid of the background noise cancellation because I've got the AC unit going. Um, you know, nobody will be able to hear me anyway because they'll hear wah in the background with the AC going. So hopefully, please. August is over and September starts to creep in. Maybe we can start ending some nice crisp fall weather. I don't know what it's been like in PA, but we had yeah, man. There were days that we had the AC set to like 67 just to try and cool off the apartment, and I would look at the temp and it would read 8, and I'm going, oh no, hell no, I'm gonna go take a shower and just sit in the shower. This week we've had a little bit of a break. We actually had a really nice day. Day or two, might have been Monday. It was like high 70s, which felt like freaking paradise compared to what it has been for a bit. And I got to dip my toes in the sand. Yeah, when I visited my father-in-law in Texas the first time, Clint had warned me about, oh, be careful, dehydration, yada yada yada, and it gets really hot in Texas. What he failed to mention was it gets hot, but the area way out in West Texas where his dad was is dry. It was being glorious. Like there was zero humidity. And yes, it meant that I had to drink more water, but that didn't bother me anywhere as much as being like hot and sticky and sweaty. Um, I freaking loved it. Summer here is, oh god, I wake up in the morning and go and I take a shower and I'm all nice and clean and I get dressed and I step outside to let the dogs go potty and suddenly I feel like I have walked into a Japanese bathhouse. Like, oh, warm, tons of humidity. Yeah, yeah, it's like if I shower in the AM and by mid afternoon feel like I need to shower again just because I went grocery shopping and I am just sweaty and gross. Uh-uh. No good. I will strap on a camelback and be sipping at water all day if it means I'm not feeling funky and gross by like icky. Plus, honestly, the fall air just smells better. There's got that crisp fall air that just, oh, love it. The one thing I will miss about summer is the plants. That is, I think, my one regret when the cool weather starts to roll around. Because in the dead of summer, when it's hot as hell, that's when my milkweed blooms. And man, anyone who's ever smelled milkweed flowers knows they are some of the most amazing, sweetest scented ever. They give my lavender a run for its money and my lilacs, and I love lilac smell when they're. I wish their season was a little bit longer. Weeks and then gone, and that makes me a nice one last. Milkweed though, man, I've got like the younger stalks that start to come up, and the big ones are blooming, and I'll get a solid 2-3 weeks of the entire front garden bed and back garden bed where the milkweed is, like crazy. As soon as you walk outside, you don't have to be anywhere near. Smell it in the air, which is probably why they were absolutely covered in air. Very nice. I thought they were carpenter bug ID thing. It was saying like brown banded bumblebee. They were really cute and very chill. The kid picked a few of them up and pet them lightly while they were drinking or gathering pollen. Very polite, laid back bees. Guests. Not a whole lot from the monarchs. I've seen 2 or 3 that have come and hung out on the milk. Um, I suspect aphid and population this year. Thanks. Next year, I need to get them on the milk galactically as soon as it's up. Uh, there's uh, keep them off. But there were definitively less monarchs this year, and I've been looking. I haven't been looking as um, diligently as I have in years past because I haven't seen monarchs, but I have not seen a single solitary egg or caterpillar around my milk. Usually, even if you don't see the eggs, because they are incredibly tiny, um, see the caterpillars or the signs that the caterpillars have been around because the recognized. Um, they plow through so quick. But from to go from almost 40 monarchs to, over the past few years, one. So, I guess to be fair, I have been seeing milkweed in more patches and in more gardens. So maybe you're just finding patches. I think I need to stagger my garden a bit more because the milkweed gets so tall that there really aren't any flowers. Salt butter. One stop shop. Although my neighbor's got flowers in also, I think. Not using. That the guys are good. Fuck. Okay, so even the pollinator gardens aren't doing as well. Like, I don't have a pollinator garden specifically. I've got the milkweed. I've got comfrey, which also really like those flowers. Um, that's kind of spreading all over the place. But she's got a wider variety of flowers, and it's literally the next yard over. So I think that it would act kind of similarly. Not quite one stop shopping. Hmm. I almost wonder if they sing with them. So hot, maybe the plants are having a harder time too. I don't know, maybe less time for them or just not as many cars are made. What's interesting though is this year, and some of it may be the ridiculous amount of rain that we got. I was convinced that we were going to be saying goodbye to our fireflies because land behind us developed an apartment complex, and shopping complex, and buffer of woods. Us and them instead of um. So I thought, oh, well, fuck, that's it for the lightning bugs. It was crazy this year. Right? They had been gone for the longest time, and this year specifically, the monarchs did not seem to be doing as well. The bees were going crazy, and I saw fireflies more often than not if I went out with the dogs at night or if I was coming in from like last Pride night. Saw little flashes on our front lawn, and I'm going, oh my god, fireflies! And I've seen them in odd places too, like the parking lot of grocery stores, the little median strip where there's a little bit of grass and some plant matter. They're there, which shocks me because it used to be I would see them in the woods behind the house. And oh, I'm saying that and I'm realizing there's not really woods behind the house, so maybe they're moving forward. I don't know. I don't know. But just numbers wise, it feels like I've seen more of them this year. I feel like I need to start actually keeping a bird and bug journal, maybe. It's like, oh, these are the temperatures this year. This is, the humidity and the heat index, and this is how much rain we got, and this is what I have seen for butterflies, for lightning bugs, for birds. Interesting, just to compare year by year. Um, because it does feel like more Firefly this year, which is nice to see. Irony of that is that I keep reading articles about, oh, this may be last year, Fireflies in the wild. And I'm going, I don't know about that. I will not argue that light pollution is hurting their habitat, but the ebb and flow of different wildlife species and insects. Oh, that's super cool. I come to think of it, I want to say the Peabody Museum has a thing each summer, and I really should take part in it and like drag the kid into it. It's a herp watch, herp and Indians, and you report frogs primarily that you've seen. I don't have a ton of lizards here, but I think that would actually be kind of cool. Holy crow! It's a Shadra. Hey, my dude. How you doing? How is the Wifu? Feeling better? Yeah, it's interesting to see the flux and flow of the critters. Oh, yeah, that's kind of a mixed bag. It's like, oh, fibro sucks, but also having a legit diagnosis on paper, um, or in records, at least that's an answer in some ways, and like potentially treatable at least as far as symptoms are concerned. If I remember the Skittles had said back in the day. If you get the right doctor, from what I understand, that's part of it is getting a doctor that understands. Yep, I hear that. Oh my goodness, do I hear that? It's actually going yesterday. His doctor, seeing for the long COVID, wanted to have him do more blood work because the joint pain is starting to. He's taking dopamine supplements, um, but I want to say the past is bothering him so badly. Uh, Playing whack a mole with, oh yay, we have a diagnosis, but also gotta kind of play roulette and figure out what may work. I'm hoping I got the nose out far enough for you so that it's comfortable to wear. Oh, so it's a weird question. My normal MO is to like punch holes and do the leather straps, but I can also use the good glue to glue tabs here and do a wider strap, like a leather strap, um, or like an elastic that can be kind of adjusted. Do you have a preference that will make this more comfortable to wear? Holes in rivet. Now when you say rivets, do you mean rivets or grommets? Because the rivets are the round pieces that punch through and are usually used to connect or layer pieces of. Okay, grommets. I actually, let me double check in my my leather supplies. I may have. Or if you want me to just punch holes and leave it as be, then your friend can kind of fiddle with it and custom fit it to you. It is entirely up to you. Whatever will work best for you and make it the most comfortable. Ears do add a little bit of top heaviness to it. Okay. Well, then I will hole punch, and if I have the grommets, I will add the grommets for stability. Kind of, I need to put it on my face and see where it lays. Oh! Haha! I can put it on my face and put my glasses on. I don't see anything unless I don't have my contacts in. I guess I could test fit it in the morning before I put my eyeballs in. And I will see how it feels with the glasses, depending on where the strap is. Comfortable. I really need to cast or find purchase a Hydrocal head base, like head base, head bust. Um, nice to be able to. I mean, I guess I could, so that when I'm forming the masks, I have something a little bit more durable that I can kind of shapes that I want. Foam dummy head. Does it ability to hide it like you? Well as I would like it to. What shaped them to my face on Bob, and Bob is Bob has seen better days. Bob has got about a dozen different pins right now, stabbed into his face. You know what? I'm gonna actually grab Bob because it might be easier. Ah. It make it easier, kind of. Oh yeah, a little bit actually. There we go. Okay. Well, I'm off. Sorry. Other tree. That's true. Hey. Is this what you meant about the nose, by the way? The pink with a little bit of white on top? Um, he doesn't have any, like, lighter on the, like, upper portion of the nose, the fur, right? Thank you! Brian. I like this rabbit base. I may, switch up a couple of markings, so not, obviously, Day's character, but, some little horns on one and do like jackalope because I think a little white fur on the bridge of the nose here. Yeah, I could totally do a. I've already got a wolf shape built up. I fingers crossed. Um, I have officially put in my application for MFF. And if I make it in, I want to bring like half a dozen or so masks with me. Usually, I'll have one or two. I would like to have half a dozen. And I've got a wolf, I've got a cat, I've got a griffin. Obviously, I've got the hare, rabbit. I've got a mix. You need mouse, yeah. Do absolutely need mouse. And see, that's another one of those like hare and rabbit with a little bit of ear tweaking. And different use of colors. You can kind of convey hare versus rabbit. With rodents, you could do like a rat and a mouse with just a little bit of sort of tweaking the ears, tweaking the muzzle shape. The leather badges, the year that I had them at AC, didn't really go, but I think I need more pre-painted ones as examples so people can see what they look like. Because having just the blanks there, it's like, oh, here's these strips of like beige colored stuff. Um, and more finished examples to be like, hey, this is what they look like all painted up and finished. Because functionally, the little leather badges, I think, will work really well as masks. I actually fiddled with the short-haired cat one because all it is functionally getting rid of the interior design of the eyes and having it be an actual cutout eye hole like this. So once he's done, I'm gonna go to the local library and see if I can get them to cut me out a cat or two. I can test run it and see how it goes. And if it lays out properly on the face and it fits as nicely as these, then I have a whole bunch of animals like the line work prepped. And I mean, it should. This was functionally the rabbit badge design that I tweaked and got rid of the eyes. So theoretically, I mean, obviously an added thing, but like fits the head generally. I want to figure out how to manage the wolf muzzles and fox muzzles though, because with the longer muzzled creatures, it's way too easy for them to just get shaped downward like long snoot. So I like to kind of mess with the leather and try and my shaping tools to bring them outwards a little bit more. Because when you've got a really cool wolf mask, but the nose just kind of goes and points straight down. Same with birds. I like the ravens I've done, but I want to mess around a little bit and try and get it so that the muzzles actually point outwards a bit more. I've seen it done with leather, but that's usually multiple pieces kind of stitched together. I would like to try and see how far I can stretch the leather when it's wet and I'm working with it. Big thing is not wanting to get wrinkles in the leather as you're shaping it and having it dry. A little tricky because you're functionally taking something that is 2D and trying to force it to be 3D. And veggie tan leather will stretch, but only to a certain degree. So, we'll see. That's why I want a harder base. Like, I want a wood base, or if I do the plaster base, not plaster, hydrocal, I could sculpt a muzzle over top and then have something rigid and that wicks water away. Kind of stretch the leather over. I feel like that would help with the shaping. Just kind of really pushing those 3D shapes. The fact that the library is laser has a 24x24 bed. Not quite big enough for masks side by side. Not the animal masks with not, but probably racer hands.
Now we're really starting to come together. I have to say that the reddish kind of wine burgundy brown, out really pretty. Dried really nice. Okay, now I need to take it off Bob. Not gonna be able to get lines. Alright, Bob. Get Bob's stuff. Better days. Poor Bob. Almost put straight. No. I have to do the eyes and then realize I'm gonna do up
Take care, dear. I will send pics as soon as he's done. Is that New York Furball, Chandra? Not up on all of the Oh, New Year's Furball. Cool. One of these years I really do want to check out through New England. We went last year, and they have their dealer's den. They moved it from where it was previous. Um, it is now on the bottom floor, in an area that, like, it looked really nice, but the ceilings weren't super high. It kind of made me think old MFF before they moved into the convention center. Um, and just like with the sheer number of people in there and the not super high ceilings, it felt claustrophobic to me. Definitely one that I because they were not all right in the dealer's room. So they were kind of uncomfortable AC, so it may be more of a security behind the table rather than walking around. That's scary. But like the back of one dealer seemed to butt up against another pretty. I don't know. It felt like a tight space. All the people for very long before kind of signaled they were like, nope, nope, much, and they out. So to be fair, it wasn't a great time either. A little close for my comfort. Yeah, yeah, like Procon was a nail biter this year. F is absolute biter. They are expanding their dealers room, so there's room for more dealers. Although that could be a double-edged sword depending on number of dealers versus customers, because there does come a point where you're so big diluting the vendor sales versus kind of seller. I don't know. It's I will. Did you say you applied or you got in? Gotcha. Well, then I will keep fingers and toes crossed for you. Get in and yes. Oh, jeez. Huh. Yeah. It's funny. MFF has actually got new staff this year, so they are doing it differently. And once application it closes, they're trying to get responses out within weeks. Phenomenal. But leave more time to plan. Uh, I buy it in advance, but they're not refundable, so not fully refundable. Pricey. Like, yeah, I don't want to. If I don't out, like, yeah, yeah. We will see what happens, but that would be absolutely amazing. That quick, like that kind of a turnaround. That'd be pretty banging. Let's see. Unfortunately, there's still gonna like go. Try and do the guest vendor like weekend thing this year. I need a good photo of my tent set up, and it's one of those things where like the only opportunity I had to set up my tent this year, in actuality, with all of my stock, was for Pride Fest. But it was raining, so struggled to set up in. Well, never mind. Set up and having everything look spiff. And like they want to see product, they want to see your tent set up, and they want to see your garb, obviously.
Okie dokie. I'm looking at what time it is, and I've still got to do. I've got the person who previously was kind of in charge of our teen night, like the parent that was in charge. Um, she is kind of stepping down and uh, done with some family stuff. So, But and I kind of got not voluntold. We are in charge of the bins of stuff and helping out with the running of events. Um, so I need to go through the bins and kind of reorganize them a little bit. I can find stuff because some had like kind of their own organization, which is cool. I want to go through them and make sure I know where everything is. I'll know like from night to night. Oh, I need to bring this bin or I need to bring that bin. Do that, or we have. I still need to stop at Staples or not Staples. God, we have a Staples, but it's over. The FedEx King copies or the Light Fury patterns. Like, yeah, yeah. For sure. Um, gotcha. Well, have fun. Thank you for coming to say hi. Miss y'all. Hey, how is the wife handling um LARP with the health stuff and tax stuff? Okay. That would be really nice. Actually, ironically enough, Tuesdays, sometimes Wednesdays, end up being art nerding time with Jess and Jen. So, at any point you would like to join in, by all means, let us know. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. And listen to your body. It is, and honestly, it's a little bit like homework room at AC used to be. We ding when we finish something, and we're trying to encourage each other. Like, hey, have you finished a thing tonight? Cool, post it to social media. Are you in the middle of something tonight? Cool, take a picture of your work in progress and post it to social media. Because more and more the conventions are wanting to see an online presence. Ensure that you are a people that is making actual artwork instead of just a prompter who is plugging in prompts and having a bot do your artwork for you. uh, which is good. I'm a fan of that concept, but it means I actually have to, be active online, which I'm not great. Yep, yep. Believe me, I remember. Could post like the bits and pieces though. Like you've got the swamp growlers and you're doing mushrooms and stuff like that, and I'm presuming you're sculpting those ahead of time and baking them and using them as like the pre-baked accents. Totally post some pictures of like all the mushrooms and the masks and the cool shit that you're doing for accessories. That doesn't necessarily uh like people will know, ooh, here is a cool thing, but they're not gonna know which egg. Not sculpting the egg. Hell, you could sculpt some of them on stream and then just do dumb. Actually, speaking of eggs reminds me. I was going through one of the many drawers of art supplies and came across this very large, very useful box that was completely filled with eggs. And I pulled a couple that I liked that I might try and do just for funsies. Um, maybe as like random stock around Christmas. But most of them are fairly general colors. Does you want? Because I do not need as many as I have. I picked a small handful, and then the rest of them are just, they're so freaking many. And since I'm going to be finishing your um, Ghost Lily Growler and sending you a box anyway with that and the jewelry piercings, stick the eggs in there too. Because at least then they get used. Sculpt something that's close to it, it's good enough for the egg. And if you like streams where you, oh hey, you know, pick an egg. I don't know. It's a lot of clay and a lot of time spent making them, so I don't want to just throw them out. Cool. Okay, they get used. Yeah, it is, because then people like have a say in what color, a general say, and you get a little. It's like it's a commission, but also people seem to. All the eggs go this home con. Yeah, I'm so glad you like. And this is just the flat colors, eh? It's gonna have a little more depth to it once I get Starlight Sentinel, right? Iranian. I think I'm reasonably sure I did, yeah. That is a good thing. Oh, I will look. Uh, huh. Did I do a mini Starlight? I don't know. I mean, they're not. If I had them, I would have made the molds the same way I made all of them. I sculpt it out of polymer clay, I bake it, I varnish the ever living shit out of it so it's really smooth and glass like, and then I use the silicone to make a mold. How is that working out? How do you like that? Yeah, it looks like it. Does it stay sticky though, or does it cure? And then kind of dry out? I wish the little like hot melt pellets that you can put in boiling water stayed actually clear once they cooled off, because that would be perfect. Like, just dump some in some boiling water, shape them, and let them cool off. Um, yep. So I heard Morbla has something for like crystals now. That might also be an option. Yeah, I think you're right. I haven't used the Warbler, so I don't know. Much like the little plastic melty beads, I don't know what it looks like when it cools. It's still like translucent. Um, but if you can get a small amount of it, that might be an option too. I think if you treated it almost like you were glass blowing it, like have your shape, have your tools ready to like cut, scissors to, I don't know. I haven't tried it. I do know that the clear crystal 3D printing filament is not, because it's making layers. So like you end up with tons of little lines, so it's not as translucent as I would like it to be. Although um yesterday I was using the heat gun on some TPU to smooth it out, and it kind of made me wonder, like, huh, if I took a pair of like the horns that I made with the crystal, you know, translucent filament, let it all print, and then hit it with the heat gun, would that kind of like, if I did it on low, um, would that melt the layers together and make it more translucent? So I need to experiment with that. Lots of options. New materials being developed every day, and I feel like the cosplay community has pushed a lot of that forward. Um, so there's definitely more possibilities than there used to be when the Worm game started. Just a matter of finding what works best for different applications. Right. Money around the eyes is going to need a second coat, but we're almost done with this one. Side and go deal with the next stuff. And up again. It's got a birthday party on Sunday. Is I can not be there because there's moms that don't get along, and it's like I spoons for it this weekend. I just don't. I don't have the mental bandwidth to play Peacekeeper. Um, but I'll work on finishing him up so that I can hopefully get him out on Monday. Wiggle. Yay! As always, thank you for coming to hang out. I hope everyone has an absolutely fantastic weekend, rest of their week of it, and I will see you next time. Bye for now. Go kick imaginary zombie butt.